All right, let's dive into a pretty wild idea today. What if poverty isn't really about your job or the economy or even your bank account? What if it's actually a symptom of an energetic disease? We're going to break down this way of thinking, which says that our financial reality is a mirror, a direct reflection of what's happening inside of us.
So here's the game plan for how we'll walk through this. First, we're going to unpack this whole concept of an energetic spasm. Then we'll look at how we even get into that state in the first place. After that, we'll redefine what money actually is, according to this perspective. From there, we'll get into the main skill you need to release these blockages. And finally, we'll see how this internal shift actually leads to real-world results.
Okay, let's just start with this one because, wow, it's meant to be a little shocking, right? This is a core idea in the material we're looking at today. It's basically saying that money isn't just luck or random chance. It's a direct signal of the value you're providing to other people.
And this is the question that just flips the whole script. Instead of looking at a lack of money as some kind of permanent life sentence, what if it's more like a symptom, like a fever? It's telling you something's wrong, but it has a root cause that can actually be found and healed.
Okay, so let's dig into this first part. This is where we get into the central diagnosis of the problem. This idea that poverty at its very core is a blockage, a clog in your personal energy system.
So, when we talk about an energetic spasm, the idea here isn't just some poetic language. It's describing a literal event, a tightening, a hardening of our internal channels. When this happens, we basically become terrible conductors of energy, and that makes us way less effective at pretty much everything we try to do.
Think of it like a pipe. On the left, you've got a state of free flow. The water, your energy, is just rushing through. It's easy, it's powerful. But on the right, that's the spasmed channel. It's clogged up, it's rigid. Only a trickle of energy can get through, and your personal power just plummets. Okay, so if that's the problem, how in the world do we get there in the first place? It's not like we wake up and decide to clog our own channels. This next part breaks down how it actually happens, through a process the source calls crystallization, and it's triggered by our simple, everyday reactions. The source uses this really powerful image, a deer in headlights. Think about it. When something happens that we don't like or that startles us, our instant reaction is to tense up. We freeze, and in that moment of tension, our consciousness goes from being fluid, like water, to being solid, like ice. And when you're frozen, you can't think clearly, you can't act effectively. And look how simple it can be. It's not always some huge, life-altering trauma that causes these blockages. Sometimes it's just your neighbor's loud drill. That's the trigger. Your reaction is anger and irritation. That feeling creates a real, physical tension in your body, and boom, your internal channels constrict. The result? Your creative and productive energy flow just shuts down. All right, so before we talk about how to fix this, we've got to totally redefine what we're even aiming for. This next part offers a completely different way of looking at money itself, and it's key to understanding how to get more of it flowing your way.
And this is such a critical point. Money is a human thing. It doesn't just fall out of the sky. It's a tool that we, as people, invented to exchange value with each other. At its heart, it's a social agreement. So if you put it all together, the amount of money you have is a direct result of these three things. 1, how useful are you to other people? 2, what skills and knowledge do you have to offer? And 3, what's your throughput capacity? Meaning, how effectively can you channel your energy into delivering that value without getting blocked?
Okay, here we go. This is the part you've probably been waiting for, the how-to. If the problem is an energetic clenching, then it stands to reason that the main skill we need to learn is the ability to consciously, well, unclench.
Now, what's so interesting about this is that it goes against every single one of our instincts. When we feel tension, we want to fight it, right? To struggle against it. But this approach says that just makes it worse. The real practice isn't to fight the spasm at all, but to simply release it, to just let it go.
So how do you actually do that? Well, the practice starts with a very simple, direct command to yourself: stop the fuss. Stop all that frantic mental energy, that physical fidgeting, all the stuff that's just feeding the tension. And right after that, you have to tackle the voice in your head. You know the one. The constant narrator who's analyzing, complaining, worrying. That inner monologue is the fuel that keeps the spasm going. The goal is to consciously turn down the volume on that. Which brings you to the absolute heart of the practice. You simply stop fighting. You give up the war against yourself.
You stop resisting the fact that you feel tense. You can't force yourself to relax. You can only allow it to happen.
And when you're not fussing, not chattering, not fighting, what's left? You can finally release that tension. You let your whole system come back to its natural state of flow. You just unclench.
All right, we're in the home stretch now. So you've learned to unclench. Now what? This is the crucial final piece of the puzzle, connecting that internal state of flow to real, tangible results in the outside world. This isn't just about feeling good, it's about being effective. See, when your energy is flowing freely, you're not burning half of it fighting your own internal resistance. So every action you take, whether it's making a sales call, writing a book, or asking for a raise, is suddenly amplified. It has way more impact because your full power is actually behind it.
And the source uses this great old saying to make a really vital point. Unclenching is what prepares you for action. It doesn't replace action. You still gotta do the work. The fear might pop up, sure, but when your energy is flowing, you can move right past it and just let your hands get the job done.
And that leaves us with one last question for you to think about. Just check in with yourself right now. What does your inner world feel like? Is it a raging river, powerful, adaptable, and flowing? Or does it feel more like a piece of ice, frozen, rigid, and stuck? The perspective we've explored today says that which state you're in is ultimately your choice. Thanks for joining me.